Back on May 16th, a kayaker found a body in a Huron River marsh. That body remains unidentified. So now the sheriff's office is hoping the public will be able to identify some of the tattoos on that body. Police say the man was 5 feet 6 inches tall, black, around 160 pounds, with dark facial hair and around 20 to mid-30s in age. The body was found just south of the Route 2 bridge in the Huron River.
First, I want to just thank the prosecuting office, all the law enforcement, and in particular Detective Callahan. I mean, he was just a godsend to our family in this tragic event. I share locations with my son, so we always knew where each other was at all times. So I knew his last known location was over on Boswell, where it appears this terrible murder happened. And I know that my sister, my aunt, and Sonia, George's mom, pretty much summed up a lot of things. I've been in contact with the prosecutor's office, so I understand what the agreement is and what you're bound by in terms of the 14 to 20 years being her sentence. But just the graphicness of this crime, you know, when we first realized George was missing, I reached out to the defendant and spoke with her. She told me, she said, "Dad, I would never do anything to hurt George." She called me Dad, knowing that my son was floating in the river somewhere with his body just decomposing, knowing that he had been hog-tied, wrapped in a sheet, drove an hour and 15 minutes away.
He made that drive 26 times, Michigan to Cleveland, Cleveland to Michigan, back and forth for 7 straight months, crossing the same stretch of water every single trip. And every single time, his son was right there beneath that river. He just didn't know it yet. What you're about to hear is not just a story about a crime. It's about a father who refused to stop looking, a family that walked into a courtroom and made sure a judge understood exactly what and who had been taken from them, and a woman who, even with a camera pointed at her and a judge staring her down, struggled to say out loud what she had done. Her name was Diamond Vaden. His name was George Cox Jr., and the distance between those two names is what this entire story is about. Stay with me, because this one goes deep. His family called him June. He was born and raised in Cleveland, stood 5'6", and had a daughter named Gianna who was 8 years old. Being present for her wasn't something he talked about. It was something people noticed. His aunt told the court about the Christmas morning he made pancakes from scratch for the first time. She said she watched pride spread across his face the moment he realized he had created something from nothing. She called him the Pancake King from that day on. He never used a box mix again. That's who June was. His father, George Cox Sr., lived in Farmington Hills, Michigan. The two shared their live locations through their phones, always wanting to know the other was safe. That detail becomes one of the most haunting parts of this story. Diamond Vaden was also 32. She and George had what she called an up-and-down relationship. She had her own place. And while still with George, she was also seeing another man, 41-year-old Emmanuel McQueen Jr. George was described as a devoted, present father. What do you think life looked like for Gianna before all of this? Drop your thoughts below. The last time George Sr. heard his son's voice was October 17, 2024. George called to talk through a family situation. His father told him to call back later. He never called back. 2 days later, the whole family went silent. No answer, no location ping. George Sr. drove to Cleveland. The Bosworth Avenue apartment was empty, but not moved out empty, scrubbed. There were marks on the floor that told a story no amount of cleaning could erase. He called the police. When investigators spoke to Diamond days later, she said she had no knowledge of George's disappearance. She also said she had never been inside that apartment. They found a pair of boots at her place. She said they weren't hers. Testing confirmed they were George's. Police used luminol at the apartment. The chemical reaction lit up walls, floors, and doors. Every sample confirmed as George Cox Jr.'s blood. The prosecutor later told the judge the crime scene photos were too graphic to show in open court.
Because his body was so decomposed. This is what I wound up going to the morgue to see. This is what I had to go see. That's what I had to see, Judge. And it's so hurtful and so I can't even describe it. That's something I'm gonna have to live with for the rest of my life. We had to cremate him because I couldn't put him in the ground looking like that. I couldn't. His daughter asked me, Granddad, why did you burn my dad up? And I'm gonna have to explain that to her one day.
On May 16, 2025, 2 kayakers near the Huron River marsh in Erie County found a body, wrapped in a fitted bedsheet, ankles bound with Marine-style rope, no ID. Just a description released to the public: black male, 5'6", 160 pounds, mid-20s to mid-30s. Police asked the public to help identify tattoos on the body. Someone recognized them.
It is a mystery that so far police have not been able to solve. A body washed up in a river, and police are telling us this does not look like an accident.
The tattoos, talk to people, anybody that does tattoos or anybody that has knowledge of gangs within Toledo to Cleveland, give us a call. We'd be more than happy to listen to you.
They also aren't sure how long the body was in the water. Could be several weeks to months. Because of that, the body was in very poor condition, so they need the public's help. Once they know who it is, they can work backwards to find out how he died and who was involved. They are hoping it all starts with understanding these tattoos.
We've kind of narrowed it down to specific organizations that this individual may have been involved with, but that's to be determined yet. So most important part is getting the identification so we can have closure for the family.
DNA confirmed the rest. It was George Cox Jr. And every single time his father had crossed the Huron River on those 26 trips, George was right there beneath it. George Sr. said it himself in court. Every time I come here now, when I pass Sandusky, I have to think about my son, not knowing he was riding right near me. The body's condition after 7 months made burial impossible. The family chose cremation. 8-year-old Gianna asked her grandfather why they had burned her daddy. He told the court he'll have to explain that to her someday. A little girl asked her grandfather why they burned her dad. How does a family carry something like that? Share your thoughts below. Detective Kevin Callahan had worked missing persons cases for 15 of his nearly 30 years in law enforcement. He had handled homicides before, but this was the first time in his career he felt compelled to speak at a sentencing hearing. During the investigation, detectives pulled Diamond's phone records. From the night of October 19th into October 20th, they found a Google search. What are the chances to survive in real life if you get stabbed in the abdomen multiple times? That search was shown to the judge at sentencing. George's brother Jamari recorded a phone call with Diamond while the family was still searching. Every time he pushed her on George's whereabouts, she got angry and denied everything. That recording became part of the case. Diamond had originally been charged with murder. Through a plea agreement, that charge was reduced to involuntary manslaughter. She also faced felonious assault and a charge tied to the disposal of George's body. In court, she told the judge there had been violence in the relationship, that she panicked, that she tried to save him, that she was sorry. Then the judge asked his own questions. How many times did you tell his family you had no idea what happened to him? Twice, she said. What happened to George? Her answer: he was beaten and stabbed by me. The judge asked whether George was still alive when she ran that Google search. She said yes. He asked whether George told her to get help. She said he told her to save him. When asked why she didn't call 911, she said one word: panic. She told the court that people she trusted came and moved the body.
So, like my lawyer told me, she didn't want me to make it about me, but I feel that it would be better if I was to...
How did he die? What happened?
He was beat up and he was stabbed.
By?
By me.
Did you do this Google search? Asking if somebody was stabbed in the abdomen, how long it would take them to survive?
Yes.
Was he alive after you had stabbed him in the abdomen? And he was bleeding out? So you had an opportunity to call 911 on his behalf? The detective said that there's blood all over the house. Did he go to different areas of the house while he was bleeding? Was he unable to get to the phone? And why was that?
He was kind of just like in shock, I guess. He kept falling, and I was basically trying to stop him from moving so I can help him.
Did he want to leave the house?
No.
Did he ask you to call for help?
He just told me to save him, try to save him.
And why didn't you?
Save him?
He's asking, he's bleeding out, there's blood all over the house. This has taken a long period of time. You've Google searched, how long does it take someone to die after being stabbed in the abdomen multiple times?
Just panic. I panicked.
And the charge. The judge sentenced Diamond on all 3 counts consecutively. 11 years for involuntary manslaughter, 8 for felonious assault, 7 months for the body disposal charge. Minimum total 19 years and 7 months. Under Ohio's Ring-Tokes law, up to 25 years and 2 months is possible based on her prison conduct. The judge gave her the maximum the agreement allowed. The murder charge became involuntary manslaughter because of what the evidence could legally prove, not what happened in that apartment. Do you think justice was served? Let us know. Before sentencing, 4 family members addressed the court: his mother Sonia Calloway, aunts Lynette Ford and chaplain Candace Amos, and his father George Sr. George Sr. spoke last. He told the court about the call he received from Diamond when George first went missing. She called him Dad, told him she would never hurt his son. He repeated those words in that courtroom, with her sitting right there, knowing his son had been hogtied, wrapped in a sheet, driven an hour and 15 minutes away, and thrown into a river. He was a son, a father, a nephew, a brother, a friend. He may not have been perfect, but who is? He did not deserve to die like that. He told the court that Detective Callahan called him more times than he could count, and that he never once hung up feeling like anything had been made easier. He thanked the detective by name in that courtroom, and then he said, "I trust you'll do the right thing for this family." The judge did. George Sr. stood in that courtroom and made sure the judge saw his son as a full human being. Which part of his statement stayed with you? Tell us in the comments. George Cox Jr. was 32 years old. He had a daughter who will grow up without him, a father who drove that road 26 times and never stopped, a family that walked into a courtroom and refused to let a judge forget who they lost. Diamond Vaden was sentenced to a minimum of 19 years and 7 months. Others named in court may still face charges. Those questions remain open. His family called him June, a man who was proud of his homemade pancakes and present for his daughter, and who called his father 2 days before he vanished just to make sure he was doing the right thing. Rest easy, George Cox Jr. Rest easy, June. Thank you for watching 24/7 True Crime Chronicles. If you found this case informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. What are your thoughts on this case? Let us know in the comments below.